The dog who refused to cross the bridge. For 365 days, Barnaby stood at the exact same spot at the edge of the Whispering Woods Bridge. Rain, snow, or the scorching summer sun, he never crossed it. He just stared into the empty mist on the other side. The locals called him a ghost. Some thought he was waiting for an owner who abandoned him. But they didn't know the terrifying truth. Barnaby wasn't waiting for someone to come back. He was protecting the town from what was trying to cross over. Arthur had lost everything. After his wife passed away, the silence in his small mountain cabin became a physical weight. He stopped looking at the sunrise. He stopped listening to the wind. To Arthur, life was a clock ticking down to nothing. Every morning on his walk into town, he passed Barnaby. The dog was emaciated, his fur matted with burrs, yet his posture was that of a royal guard. Arthur tried to offer him food, but Barnaby wouldn't budge. He would only accept a single piece of dried jerky if Arthur placed it exactly 3 feet away, never breaking his gaze from the bridge. "Why do you stay here, old friend?" Arthur muttered one chilly autumn evening. The dog didn't bark. He just let out a low, vibrating whine that echoed the very grief Arthur carried in his own chest. That night, a massive storm rolled over the valley, the kind of storm that tears old oaks up by their roots. Arthur couldn't sleep. He couldn't stop thinking about the dog out in the freezing rain, driven by an impulse he hadn't felt in years, a feeling of purpose. Arthur grabbed a heavy blanket and ran into the tempest. The flashlight beam sliced through the driving rain. When he reached the bridge, his breath caught. Barnaby wasn't standing anymore. He was on his knees, shivering violently, his paws bleeding from gripping the wet wooden planks. Yet his nose was still pointed straight across the river. Arthur threw the blanket over the dog and lifted him. For the first time in a year, Barnaby broke his vigil. He buried his wet face into Arthur's neck. As Arthur turned to carry him back to the safety of the cabin, a deafening crack shook the earth. Arthur spun around. Through the dark, he saw it. A massive flash flood and mudslide had just torn down the mountain slope. It didn't hit the bridge. It hit the path leading directly to Arthur's cabin. If Arthur had stayed in his bed, he would have been buried alive under tons of rock and mud. Barnaby hadn't been watching for a ghost. Animals have an ancient instinctual connection to the earth. For months, the deep geological shifts in the mountain had been sending vibrations through the bedrock, vibrations only a creature bound to the earth could feel. Barnaby knew the mountain was going to give way. He stayed at the bridge because he knew it was the only safe zone in the entire valley. He was waiting for the one person who showed him kindness, ensuring Arthur would be out of his house when the disaster struck. They say that sometimes, when we think we are saving a stray animal, it is actually the animal that is saving us. Arthur lost his cabin that night, but he found his life. Today the old wooden bridge is gone, replaced by a new path, and Barnaby no longer stands guard in the rain. Instead, if you walk past Arthur's new home in the valley, you'll see an old happy dog resting on a porch, his eyes no longer searching the mist, because he is finally home.